Meeting to order for January 10th, 2023. Welcome and Happy New Year. I am the new chairman. It might be a little bumpy, but I think we can do this. I would like to call this meeting to order. And we have the agenda in front of us. And I think I need to have a roll call first. So we have Vice Chairman, Mr. Waters.
Present.
And we have Bob Garza.
Present.
And I am here, so Jason is here, and the mayor and Jesse, and we have Alderman Dixon, Alderman Goodwin is here, and Garden. I don't know if you can see them, but we have a full house. So I appreciate y'all being here with us tonight and watching at home as well. And on the agenda, I would like to add a ordinance 2023-2 for discussion, and that is an ordinance establishing a special committee to study the issue of street lighting in the city. Do I have can I get a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to add that to the agenda.
Okay, thank you. I have a motion to add that ordinance and a proper second. So we will add that to the agenda. And I would like a motion to accept the agenda as it is.
So moved. Second.
We have a proper motion and a second to accept the minutes.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to accept the minutes.
So you talking about the November 10th meeting?
You got two of them on there.
Yes, we do need to approve the minutes from November 10th.
So move.
Second.
Okay, and we have minutes from December 1st, 2022.
So moved.
Second.
And all those in favor of approving both sets of minutes, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes. Okay. We're going to move now to our ordinances and resolutions. And the first ordinance is to establish occupation, or Mayor, did you want us to talk about the lighting committee first?
I have to leave in a few minutes. Jesse's prepared to talk about it, but if you want me, we need to do it now.
Let's
Okay.
go ahead. If there's no
Okay.
opposition, let's move ordinance
Okay.
2302 to number 1.
Yeah. I second that.
Okay, thank you. Mayor, I'm going to let you have the table.
So since I became mayor, it's been obvious even before that we've got some antiquated light fixtures all over the city. Some of those fixtures, most of those fixtures are owned by NES. Some of the fixtures are owned by Cumberland Electric. The poles and the other equipment on those poles are owned by an assortment of utility companies. The city of Hendersonville owns some poles. The wires and everything going to and from those poles are owned by multiple utility companies. The street lights themselves are obviously beneficial to the city of Hendersonville for driving at night and for lighting up neighborhoods at night. We receive bills from NES for the street lights. We receive bills from Cumberland Electric for the street lights. We also receive bills from NES for our parks lights, as well as the lights right here. It's hard to really understand what those bills are for. In addition to the cost for the power, there are also fees on there for maintenance. It's hard to fully understand what those maintenance fees are. Some of our streetlights are owned by HOAs, some of them are owned by the city. And we're talking everything from the pole to the cabinet to the actual arm that comes out to the fixture that's on that arm. So it's It's very confusing and very complex. A couple cities have converted to LED light fixtures and have cut their electricity costs. Goodlettsville is a great example. They've done it on Dickerson Road in a long stretch there. Columbia has done it. Spring Hill has done it. There's several other cities around that have done it. We've been approached by no fewer than 6 companies. I brought those to the Public Works Committee. I brought those to Capital Projects Committee. I talked to the General Committee over the past couple of years about those. My reluctance to jump on board with one of these companies is we don't really have a staff that knows how to say, that knows if they're telling us what we need, as well as the possibility that we'll agree to current technology and it takes a year to really implement and construct, and it's no longer current technology. So Tony Camelli, he contacted me probably about a year ago, told me his background and just said, hey, I've moved to Hendersonville. Would love to get involved if you see a need for me. He's got a very analytical background. Don't really remember what he was doing before that. And I said, I'd like somebody to sort of give us some guidance on this. He started asking questions and doing research as far as our bills, and he pretty much agrees it's a mess. We don't always know what we're paying for. However, one of the few things I'm not going to, it's very important to me that I sign checks for NES and Cumber Electric. As much as I'd like to ask questions and get more detail, I think it's important that we keep the lights on, and I'm going to sign those checks. So Tony has done some research. He and I have talked multiple times, talked with Jesse, talked with Sarah. We really need somebody to give us direction on what it is that we should do. At the same time, we also see an opportunity to replace some of our poles that we have on very visible streets with something more aesthetically pleasing. Can we bury some lines? Can we replace those with decorative poles? So all that's in the mix. Again, the problem is that we need some folks that have a background and can understand this, can take some time to represent the city. And what I'm asking for is to create a committee that has a life of a year, have them give us some recommendations. They may decide that we need to hire this company to do it. They may decide that we need to hire a consultant to give us guidance. They may decide that they can give us that guidance. We just need some folks that have a background with this to help us out.
Makes sense.
Otis Jones is an engineer. Nick Thompson used to work for NES. Okay, and then I think we should have a 5-person committee, and I'm looking for any other ideas for this. Yes.
Didn't Eddie give you the name of the gentleman on Green Yard?
He did.
Because he said he was interested.
Okay, that's
and he
good.
is smart as a whip. Did that develop?
Was it Wayne?
Yep.
Okay. He did. I wanted to come to y'all for these 3 have been for a year. I've wanted to put them on a committee, but that could very easily be the 4th one. And if we hear from somebody else that has a 5th one,
he could be smart enough to run that thing.
Okay.
He is smart.
Okay.
Does that have to be inside the city?
No, because Nick does not live inside the city. Nick has
Okay.
lived here for a long time.
Remember, I told you I had a connection at
Yes.
NES who's very interested in helping us
Okay.
sort out our lighting issue.
Okay.
So let me approach him.
Okay.
I'll do that tomorrow.
What I'll do is this will not go to the board tonight, is when it comes to the board in 2 weeks, I'll amend it to have those names, to include those names.
Okay.
So yeah, that'd be helpful.
Do you want me to talk to Wayne or you want to talk to
Why
him?
don't you talk to him?
You know, can I speak? I'm so sorry.
Yes, you can.
One of the things that sticks out to me is you've said several times, our city employees don't have the knowledge to know to look at this and discern what's on. Well, I think that should be a major objective going forward, is making sure that we do have somebody on staff
Okay.
who begins to learn and comes on and maybe is on this committee.
So we are looking for an assistant city engineer right now, and if we get one, I've sort of had in the back of my mind that this becomes one of their primary objectives.
Okay.
So I like your thinking.
Well, do y'all have any more discussion on the lighting committee? Mayor, thank you for bringing this to us, and
Excuse me.
yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask if we could move this to BOMA in 2 weeks.
But I was gonna ask about, do you want us to have some names for you and before the next meeting, the BOMA meeting?
That'd be fine. If we end up with multiple names, then I'll talk to all of them. If we end up with more than 2, I'll talk to all of them and see who's willing. We could also, expand this committee to more than 5. This is gonna be very much a working committee. It's not coming and sitting and creating policy. You're gonna be expected to do some work.
I like a group of 5 with Ms. Dixon's recommendation of having a staff member on it as well. And especially if she knows of an NES person and we could, have an insider would really help this group going forward. Because I know they've talked to us at Public Works as well as I believe we had a workshop.
Mhm.
And if I remember, the price tag was over $1 million. And so I'm glad that we're going to establish a committee and do our homework before we jump into this. And I know it's needed. Going forward, we're always looking for improvements on our roadways. And I know the LEDs are brighter and more efficient. And also the safety factor is important. Do we need to vote on this going to BOMA?
I appreciate it. Y'all
Yeah,
voting
okay.
recommendation.
Well, I will certainly open it up for a motion.
Make a motion, we do move this to the next BOMA meeting.
Yep.
Not tonight, but the next mobile
Next
meeting in
BOMA
2
meeting.
weeks.
Yeah, and I second that motion.
Okay, proper motion and second to move this to BOMA on January 24th, I believe.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Okay, our next ordinance is 2023-01, an ordinance to establish an updated occupational safety and health program plan. Advice, rules and regulations, and to provide for a safety director and the implementation of such program plan.
Mr. Chairman, I need to leave, but I'm going to suggest, since I'm the sponsor of both of those, I'm going to suggest that Jason could probably answer questions on the first one and Jessica could probably do the second.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate
Is
that.
Jesse the sponsor along with Jason? Oh, you're the sponsor.
Well, I can answer on the current one that we're on the ordinance, and I think Jesse was on the resolution.
So you're on the safety.
Yes.
Like to have the floor when you get time.
Absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna let Jason discuss this occupational safety and health program plan to us.
Sure. So this stems from our involvement in having a health and safety plan for our employees. And so if there's an occupational injury, it's also to making sure that we provide safe working conditions for our employees. This falls in line with state law. Tosha was the one who we partner with on this one and reached out to say this needs to be updated every 7 years. So last updated was in 2015 with a minor revision. The bigger revision that we had before that was 2013. So it's due. The piece that was being updated was just simply in bold in your packet there. It's a very minor bullet that really was updated, just had to do with notification toward Tosha, but this is just making sure that our municipal code is in compliance with state regulations.
So there's what's the difference between this updated ordinance and the one that you had in 2013 and 2015?
Sure. So the one that was done in 2013 was really the establishment of that plan. They replaced everything in whole. We created a safety director in position to manage that. This is updating with who the safety director is. Back in 2013, that was the HR manager. Now it's myself as the administrative services director. The other piece, as I mentioned, was just that single bullet, and I'm just looking for that right now. So I can let you know, it's just in bold, so I'm scrolling through it. Bear with me. But it was just simply a notification to Tosha. So there are some minor variances, but because the code had not been updated since 2013, it made more sense just to replace the whole body. What we did in 2013 is we took what they gave us, we took out our old, and we put in what they recommended. So that's essentially what this is here. They gave us the recommended text. We've made some minor revisions.
Is it on page 29 where it says note?
I'm scrolling through. I am not finding it, but. We got it. Oh, you have it?
Yes, last bit, last.
No, that is not the part. It is actually
code
within
in.
the code itself, and that's the piece that I'm just.
It's not in there.
We went through them and looked at them side by side. I can't recall it either. But it's- They consolidated, they dropped two
Mhm.
chapters off because they were able to put them in
Right.
other chapters.
Okay,
And it was,
State.
yeah,
state did, yeah.
yeah.
They who?
The
The
state,
state did.
Tosha,
So we just carbon copied the states and implemented
So
it to
never-
their updated policy.
Are you-
yes,
Must
go
be.
ahead, please.
we're only talking about Title IV, right? That's it.
Title IV, Chapter 4.
That's it.
That's all we're
That's it.
talking about.
Okay. In your first exhibit 4 that you sent out,
Okay,
you had 17 sections.
that's correct.
Today, when I read it, you got 20. I know the first one, 401, is the title of the program. But what's the other two?
So the other two were consolidated. Back then you had the purpose, and I'm just going to the table of contents here for you. You had the purpose and the title is section 401, and then the coverage is a separate section. Those have been combined, and Tosha has dropped another section on that. I'll have to go back if you would like,
I
what this
read
is.
that- I read social today and I didn't see that.
So the new one that's in your packet with the
Yeah.
exhibit A, that's what Tosha recommended. The one that's online right now
Yeah.
with 20 chapters is the one from 2013. That's not the updated text. The one that the exhibit A is the updated text.
You got 20 now.
Correct. And we're reducing it down.
You are
Yes,
back to 17.
yes. There's 20 in it right now. That goes from 2013.
Well, you had 17 to start with. Read it. You got it. Read it.
So exhibit A is the proposed. That's not the existing.
I don't have it. Here it is. 401 to 417.
Correct. That's the proposed
That's the one you sent out to start with, very beginning.
as the proposal. The one that's online, the one their current municipal code has 20 chapters
As of today.
as of today.
You changed, yeah.
No, I didn't change anything. I haven't changed anything online. The one that you have in your notebook right there, that's the proposal.
So if we approve this one, the online version where it has 20 will shrink to 17.
What are you taking out or combining? You gotta be doing something.
Yeah, there's some condensing of the chapters where they put them together to summarize
Did
them.
OSHA do that?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, Tosha recommended that. We did not.
We are not condensing anything on our own. This is all Tosha recommended.
Okay. Let me go, may I continue?
Yes.
Okay. As I referred, let me start by saying, I spent 25 years in this right here, okay? I know OSHA and I know workers' comp, and I'm not bragging. But in your title, you got occupational safety and health program,
Mhm.
right?
That's right.
Is that part of the workers' comp?
That is a small portion of, yes, the workers' comp program that we manage. We maintain the workers' comp in addition to this. This goes to making sure safe working conditions.
It is,
So-
it is part of OSHA, workers' comp
Yes.
is part of OSHA, right? Okay. You said you're shrinking it? What did I hear you say?
No, it's a portion of it. So our
It's a
safety and
big
health,
portion of it,
okay,
if I read it correctly,
okay,
okay. But that's okay, I'm just asking questions. I live and breathe this for years, so I think I know what I'm doing. It's not a big thing, but the bottom line, it's mainly about job injuries. That's what this is all about,
and prevention, yes.
workers' comp. The industrial I'd venture to say we hadn't had nothing like that in years. But we've had workers' comp injuries.
Mhm.
Since I've been on board. Does the employees know this title covers workers' comp? Should workers' comp be mentioned? You're the sponsor.
Yeah, all our supervisors and our employees are very aware of workman's comp. And we have incidents reports that we fill out. If there's an injury at work, that supervisors are trained. And we have, consistent paperwork throughout all the departments where they'll pick up an incident report. They'll report that. I mean, there's some stipulations in here where there's certain things you have to report that day.
That's right.
So this
You got
defines.
72 hours.
Well, some of them have been shortened down to 48 or 24.
48, some of them,
Yeah.
not all of them, okay.
That's right.
Yeah, I think if you lose an eye, that has to be reported within 24 hours.
It's or lose a finger, or lose
Mhm.
a toe, anything.
So this kind of sets some of those guidelines.
I understand.
So-
Let me ask you another question. Are we self-insured on workers' comp, or is that carried by TML or some other vendor? At the present,
At the present, we use public entity partners. We are not self-insured. We've been using public entity partners for work comp.
who's that?
That's our workers' compensation carrier,
Does it have a name?
public entity partners.
Where they located?
They are located, is it Franklin?
Brentwood, I believe, either Franklin or I think Brentwood.
Are they Brentwood?
So
They're local.
they do all just workers' comp.
No, they also carry our,
Yeah, they do our general liability. They've represented us in suits so that we have an insurance. We do insurance through, we shorten it as PEP, Public Entity Partners. I think they do most of Middle Tennessee. But they also handle our workman's comp as well.
TML doesn't have anything to do workers with the liability. You mentioned this company does liability for us.
Mhm.
what's our,
Does TML do it? Don't they get involved in
I
liability?
don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think it's public entity partners. So we will, I mean, we fund those claims that come in for workman's comp. It's in our
Correct.
budget. And that's just depending on what comes in, because it's outside of our health insurance that we offer for employees. So, if we have a workman's comp claim, that's just in addition to the health insurance that we pay for the employees.
You don't have an in-house person that handles minor workers' comp?
We do not.
Everything goes to this company.
Yes, sir.
Where they charge us?
the
Go ahead.
overall? Well, we're charged for the claims that are submitted.
No,
And
I
then-
don't mean,
You're talking the
I don't
administrative
mean when
fees?
they pay a workers' comp claim. What kind of expense do we pay this company?
I think they charge a rate per time spent on the case. So depending on what the case is, I think it's the time that they have involved. I don't have an hourly rate, but we could get an hourly rate, report back to you on what the rate is. Because what they'll do is for each employee that gets injured, they'll have a fee associated with that employee. So they'll send us a breakdown that says, employee A is $1,500, employee B is $2,300.
That's what they charge?
Well, they'll list
Depends
it.
on the injury?
Mhm.
Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you're gonna be the safety director?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I don't have it with me, but you mentioned some things. Several things, but I'll bring that up later. Let me go to page 7. I do have that with me.
Okay.
Funding the program plan.
Yes.
Sufficient funds for administrating and staffing the program plan as to this ordinance shall be made available as authorized by the city of Hendersonville. That concerns me. We're talking about more expense, aren't we?
You want to? I'll
I
take
can-
it.
sure.
No, because what we've done is we've budgeted in our budget. We've budgeted for Jason's position. We've budgeted for my position. We've budgeted for our insurance carrier. So, if we removed a safety director, if we didn't have Jason, if we didn't have insurance to cover workman's comp, then we'd be in violation. But we've set our budget up and we've set our personnel up to be able to handle workman's comp. We have forms we can give to people. So we have a program in place so that workman's comp, that we can facilitate workman's comp.
Is this I just read pertains to him?
Not just to me, but any training programs that we offer to our employees.
Yeah.
That is part of this. We have a budget for training already this year.
Is
And
in the
I,
budget already?
yes,
And you and I talked about our upcoming budget. It's tight as Hades, okay?
Mhm.
But here we are with outside of him, and there's gonna be more expense. You can bank on that.
Yeah, but we're not asking for additional dollars here with this program. We were gonna, if whether TOSHA requires it or not, we're gonna offer our employees workman's compensation for work injuries. So whether they require us to offer it or not, we would offer it to our employees. As part, I think it's a law to do it anyway.
What you're saying, you don't think OSHA requires you to do that?
No,
he's saying they do.
yeah, they
They
do.
do?
Yeah, but
Yes.
even if they didn't, I mean, we would
Oh,
offer.
so
So it's,
okay.
my point being is it's not gonna incur any additional costs, because we already have it set up to offer workman's compensation.
I'm just concerned about upcoming budget, and I know it's gonna be tight as the devil. I yield back to you, Mr. Chairman. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. One quick question, I'll go back. Is there a separate exhibit for workers' comp?
No, that was not part of what TOSHA was updating with
Okay.
the workers' compensation
Just
portion.
the OSHA plan?
Correct.
Okay. And we probably get a discount on insurance if we do offer this training, is
That
that
is
correct?
correct. Yes.
Okay,
And with some of the safety committees that we've got, the safe driving, those things, that also helps with those discounts as well.
okay. Very good. Is there any more discussion?
I just had I had two
Yes.
things. One, I had the same question you did. I wrote it down today. So thank you for bringing that up. The second one, which is really more of a house cleaning issue, is in here, we talk about not having any issues with race or sex or anything like that,
Yeah.
but in here, it continues to word he and his.
Right.
And you happen to be a he and his, but the new safety director could be a woman.
Sure.
I think that maybe should be cleaned up for our future use.
Okay.
Not a big deal, but just a housekeeping thing.
Easy enough.
That's all I had.
Can I ask him one more question? Were you the HR director at one time?
Yeah.
Are you, but you're not gonna be if
I
this,
still am. So
even
this
after
is.
this is passed,
So this was a portion of the role that was already part of the HR director.
you
So
gonna keep both?
I'll do,
Well, I'm asking, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to,
no, that was the intent. And I knew that when I got hired is that the safety director, whether you want to call it safety director or safety coordinator, that was a part of the role as administrative services.
I think it states in there that the HR is the safety director, not you, but I mean, in general.
Right. And so the new text then would just, and we were able to confirm that it's who we designate. So we put in there the administrative services director. So myself would become the safety director.
So
It's an added hat.
you're gonna have both positions.
It would really be a designation that's
That's right.
added to your title.
That's right.
It's like
No,
the title of a role
Right,
versus the
correct,
title of a
Yeah,
job.
it's just an
Right.
additional designation. It's just,
Yeah.
and it's what
There's-
Mr. Gallo's already doing.
Yeah, there's no additional
I'm just-
pay that comes
I'm
with
just-
that.
I'm just kidding you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You are welcome. Well, if I see no more discussion, I would like a motion to move this to FOMA. For,
Well, we have two choices. We can recommend to BOMA. Or we can recommend to BOMA without our recommendations.
yes, we sure can. Would you like to make a motion with a recommendation?
What you got, Jim?
My gut tells me no, but I will. I make a motion that we send it to BOMA with our recommendation,
Did you say with our recommendation?
with our recommendation, yeah.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we've had a proper motion and a second to move resolution 2023. I'm sorry, ordinance 2023-01 to BOMA with our recommendation. And what is our recommendation? That we,
General committee, we don't vote, we just recommend to BOMA,
okay,
one way or the other.
all right, so we are recommending this go
Yeah.
to BOMA. And do I get a vote on that?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Yes,
Okay,
just do.
I would like to, all those in favor of moving this ordinance to BOMA with our recommendation, please say A.
A,
A. Those opposed?
B.
It passes unanimously. Thank you. Okay, we have one more resolution on the agenda, and it is 2301, a resolution authorizing the handmade market to renew its use of the grounds of City Hall for its market activities. And that is on page 30. And I believe, Jesse, you can inform us about this one. Is that correct?
Sure.
Okay. You have,
There's what's called the handmade market. It's similar to a small farmer's market. And it is a for-profit business that basically gets vendors who do handmade type of goods. And they set up a booth. They've done it in the City Hall parking lot. They kind of go out in the grassy area by the pond. Typically on a Saturday and a Sunday, so it'll run 2 days. They'll have a food truck or two here at City Hall. They've gotten some restrooms and set them out on City Hall. The owner charges all the vendors a fee to come. The vendor has an insurance policy to hold the city harmless, and I think $1 million liability. The handmade market was coming with prior, I think maybe in early 2022 or 2021 without necessarily going through the formality of asking for BOMA's permission or submitting an insurance documentation. So this is really to extend what BOMA had allowed for it. BOMA had allowed it for a short period of time to finish out 2022. So now the mayor is asking if we can, in 2023, also allow the handmade market to use City Hall grounds for-profit business for what's called the handmade market, which is similar to a small farmer's market.
and how many of these events did they have last year?
Oh, I don't have the number on, I don't know last year. I don't know if it was as many, but I think they have,
There are 9 for this year.
yeah, 9.
22.
I know, but I don't know 22, but 23, they've asked for 9.
They had 9 last year as well.
I don't know. I don't think there was 9.
I
I
don't
think
think
it was less than 9.
Okay,
I think it's less than 5.
Yeah.
and are these well attended?
Yeah. I would say fairly.
I just learned about it.
Yes. And,
So I've been to 1 or 2,
I have to.
okay,
would you say they're fairly attended? Yeah. Kind of neat.
and does Miss Slack, I believe she's the organizer, does she pay for the porta potties out of her budget?
Yes.
Okay, so there is no fiscal impact or no cost to the city for this, okay?
Right.
Well, I will need to make sure I attend one of these for myself.
There's no food.
Well, they
No,
are
they have food
gonna
trucks.
have food truck.
He meant that personally.
You can bring your own food truck. Do they have food?
Yeah, they have food trucks.
What all do
And they
have?
have a hot dog stand that comes as well. Yeah.
Okay.
Do
I
they?
think they've had barbecue before and a hot dog stand.
What do they, the handmade market, what's the purpose? I mean, what do they really, what's the number one item that they sell? Is it handmade stuff?
I think like soaps and local honey and things of that nature. Do you remember any?
Crab.
I've seen
Yeah.
cannabis, crab, clothes.
Yeah.
Is there produce?
I've never seen any
not.
yet.
It's probably the farmer's
Okay.
market.
Interesting. Y'all have any more discussion on this?
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks like just a formality, really,
Okay,
I would think. Keep them in line, make sure they're insured.
so if we approve this with our recommendation, what if they want more than 9 events? Would they need to come back to the city? Or do you think 9 should cover it?
I think they've asked for 9, so I think anything outside of that, they would need to ask at
Okay.
least the mayor.
Based, if I may, based on the 9, they're starting in March and ending in November. That probably would be weather related after that.
Okay. All right, well, the floor is open for a motion to accept resolution 2023-01, authorizing Handmade Market to renew its use on the grounds of City Hall.
I'll make that motion.
I second it.
Okay. We have a motion properly made and second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And that passes unanimously as well. Is there any other agenda items for us to discuss tonight?
As far as I know.
No, I don't have any.
No, sir.
Make a motion.
Okay, well, I certainly appreciate everyone's time tonight. We've had a good agenda that we can pass along to BOMA. So, being that there's no more business, I would like a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
Seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.